pole position to shut it down, and OXG having to go for the response. The mixed results news here, depending on how closely you've been paying attention to this tournament, is that OXG is going to get started on the defensive side. Normally, this would be a good thing for our defenders, but this tournament has been swinging incredibly towards an attacker-favored meta here, even on maps like Clubhouse, which traditionally are very, very defensive-sided.
Absolutely the case. And for this ban phase, this has been pretty premeditated thus far. The normal bans for both of these squads so far, including this one from FaZe, as they really do not like Valkyrie on the defensive side here for Clubhouse. And for Oxygen, they should be removing Mira. Outside of that, they haven't banned anything here on Clubhouse, and that's exactly going to be the case. So we'll see Mira off the board with the other band of criminals that we usually see taken away here as we begin things on Clubhouse. Once again, Oxygen on defense, FaZe on offense, and this should be a pretty interesting one. Where does Oxygen want to go? What did they trust on this starting half initially? Obviously, the pacing on the side or inside of Bank was not the greatest for them, so they really want to start with their best foot forward, and they'll be heading downstairs because of that. This obviously lineup-wise is looking like an extended hold upstairs. They want to go for the roam strategy. Is there going to be a 6 pick that comes in off of this, though? Not as of right now. The Vigil will be locked in as well as the Mozzie, but Cameraman, what is this?
Oh yeah, the Lion pick coming in from him, so this should be interesting to see here. It's going to try to isolate out. This could actually be a pretty good counter pick to what I think I'm seeing from OXG, who I believe might try to go for a bit of an extended roam here. The Thunderbird pickup is making me believe that, but at the same time could be wrong if they just want to try to play for more aggressive swings inside of the site. That's an option too, especially considering the fact that Laxing brought the K to the table, and then wanting to double reinforce some of these walls is certainly going to be in the cards. Well, the hatches more than anything, but might see that one of those go down inside of the church wall too.
You totally hit the nail on the head. The Lion is a direct counter to this kind of strategy where those EU1Ds will force you to, well, not really move. It doesn't really force you to do much. It forces you to stand still and do nothing. So, and that's quite difficult in the game of Rainbow Six Siege. If you guys are a long-time player, you'll know that, well, specifically an op like Tachanka doesn't really work too well in this game with his old kit. You don't want to just stand still because then you're a hot spot for not only grenades, but any utility that could possibly kill you from the offensive side. And just to double check, guys, they have not used this in recent history, so this is going to be a new adaptation here for FaZe. I'm excited to see how they utilize this.
All right, so let's get into it here. Let's take a look at who will take the opening edge off of their opponents here. Remember, first kill, a little bit in the favor of OXG, I think, as far as that last map is concerned, but it wasn't necessarily deciding factors we've been seeing in a few of our other matchups here where the teams have been playing a bit more slowly, and oh my goodness here, y'all getting right in the face of Cyber to start this round off. Takes him down and immediately tucks tail and runs away here. He's all right with the first floor extension. Don't need that anymore, but it looks like we do still have at least one player from OXG that's going to continue to put pressure out from the second floor here, despite the fact that OXG get the 5v4 rolling just seconds into the opening round.
Will the opening blood have influence over this round? Obviously, as Blue was saying, Oxygen with quite a few of those inside of Bank, but FaZe still taking it 7-3, so couldn't be possibly that the influence from this one isn't nearly as paramount to success as we initially thought. Bullet with so many bullets inside of that, 150 of them to be exact, as he'll take down Kino inside of Blue. Souls will crunch into Dirt, and this is a default rush when you have the roam going on. You want to try and pressure both sides here, and Cameraman continues the onslaught. He'll take down Lax, and Yaga's the only one home. Vertical will be able to find one on the re-entry to the mid-floor, but not before Bullet takes out Foxe, and all of a sudden, FaZe again ahead on man count as Bullet begins the plant inside of Church.
There's a little bit of a mess here right now. Both teams trying their hardest to trade this out. Vert with the Nitro, though, saves the day, and more importantly, stops the plant. Bullet down on the ground here. Don't believe he had anyone nearby it either, but Vert will get exchanged out now by Cameraman, who's going to take up the mantle here, pick himself up the diffuser as well, and try to put that down. Everything falls to Yogg once again, who's going to juice himself up here as he passes by the Kona stations one more time. Has the angle to counter out, but he's way too far behind on the read. Didn't even think the main stairs transition had been made yet, and that'll be his fatal blow in this round.
Terrifying stuff there, as if Yaga makes the decision to push into Blue, that round could have been completely different, but he doubles back and assumes that someone more than likely will be coming towards main stage. stairs. The timing was a little off there for him, unfortunately enough, and just not able to work things out in any convincing way. A great round from FaZe as they bounce back from Yaga's initial pick, and just like you said, just because that opening pick comes does not mean that you're being gifted the round.
And to be fair, it was a very chaotic follow-up inside of that round as well there. Saw things start out pretty confidently for OXG, but FaZe Clan, they didn't cool things off. They just heated it up even more here, seemed to speed up their play instead of slow it down after losing a player there. Caused so much of an exchange. Bullet, obviously, the one to kind of drop right into blue, make the aggressive play forward, and open up that Pandora's box for FaZe Clan to play into. And things just continue to get crazier and crazier from there until we eventually ended up in the 3v2 favoring FaZe Clan, which they were able to leverage without too much of an issue. Obviously had that nice little nitro cell came out that slowed down the plant, but ultimately, again, under the control of our attackers here as they take a 1-0 lead at the start of this map.
Well, some adaptations here from both sides. Vertical will work the pulse in for a CCTV defense, not something we exactly see too often, but also Cameraman will be bringing Flores for the offensive side. We'll be reinforcing the garage panels down low as to be expected, especially with Laxing in the lineup. He'll be applying those electro claws towards the quad wall, or rather just the two garage walls down low here to make sure that FaZe do not have immediate access to this. Past that, we should be seeing these Flores drones try and collect a few of the odds and ends around this space, and yeah, it sounds like Bravo is popping off right now as well. And actually a quick update for you guys over there. If you didn't see it, well, mostly because it was a flash in the pan, mute your stuff real quick. A 7-1 victory for TSM on the first map. Truly disgusting from them, but we'll have to see what they can possibly muster on their second one, as FaZe will be blowing open one of the initial garage walls.
Already one popped here, and once again, going to still try to leverage a little bit more pressure onto this more than likely. FaZe still playing into an aggressive position, though, as we can see him leaning into that opening garage angle. Normally, you're going to see the defender here positioned a little bit further around that catwalk against the longer partition of it. However, FaZe, I think, through the breach, more than likely, able to find out Bullet here and knock him out, giving OXG the opening kill of this round.
This makes things a little bit more difficult for these FaZe members. An early nitro cell, I do believe, or maybe an impact from Fox, able to do a little bit of damage to Cyber, but really nothing much at the end of the day. Good news for FaZe as well as they have some extra breaching.
Oh, he's in!
What? He actually
hopped the window.
Astro's inside of CCTV, and he's going to be able to collect Yaga as well. He doesn't even need his teammates as Astro continues to deal serious damage to the OXG lineup. Laxing fighting back. Vertical has a nitro cell from down low, and finally this round will reach more of a lull point here at about 1:25.
Nice catch by Astro, noticing the fact that there is no resistance from Cash side, and of course Fox is preoccupied watching the garage play, so nobody's paying attention to that CCTV window. He sneaks in for the 2-for-1, but again, OXG ultimately get control over the situation here, trade it back down. Now leaving FaZe Clan in a bit of an awkward scenario here, as they do not have a lot of control to write home about because of the haphazard nature of the hop in there. No one able to get in a position to support Astro quickly enough before he also went down here. So now it's OXG in a 3v2 advantage here, but even back up due to the good positioning of Souls. He finds out Kino, gets a little bit of damage going on a vertical upstairs as well here as we enter the final 50 seconds of play here. And OXG are scared seemingly despite the 2v2 numbers. They want to play it back into safe angles, just catch the swing here, and they'll find it. Souls out into the window, down onto the ground as Laxing knocks him out, and Cameraman now stands alone.
1vx situation for Cameraman, Laxing, and Vert. Both pretty healthy at the end of the day. A stun out, but Cameraman will botch it. It actually ends up stunning him instead, and also will be a call sign that he's moving into Lounge. Trying to clear out the downward space, but now rushes up red. Should have the audio on this one as he doubles back. Thinks there's a flank possibility coming through, but with the pre-fire, he now also has some information and some hot pings coming out as well. Understanding the positioning now, pistol out, knows one's around green box, but can he land his shots? Cameraman cannot, and it's Laxing to shut it down from CCTV as they'll pick up the very first and very chaotic. Biggest thing going into that is obviously the breach not being handled properly. The soft breacher being killed early on from Fox led to a lot of big issues, especially when it came to that CCTV wall. They didn't use a Rotero drone or anything on it to actually gain access properly. They just simply had the lines that Mav had torched and the wall was soft. So they really would have liked to have had more vision inside of that space if they could have possibly have mustered it. But now for Oxygen, they're able to equalize on CCTV. They're going to switch gears and go on over to Gym Bedroom to try and find their second round, their initial one, inside of the last. Is we're going to have some pretty interesting op choices here, at least for Yaga's sake, as we'll be bringing in the Greshma Mines of Ella.
So a little bit to hopefully slow down that more haphazard play. That type of situation only going to come about due to FaZe Clan finding these opportunities and executing into them. They are not going to go for those types of plays with a bunch of droning involved in it, so they're hoping that once again, through that haphazardness, that FaZe Clan are going to be caught up by those Schmott mines and hopefully some of this other utility that's been brought to the table by OXG as well. Time will tell if that is going to be a good choice from Oxygen, and more importantly, if FaZe Clan are going to pull a move like that once again here. They've done it for the first 2 rounds, but once again, those have been plays of opportunity. That's been due to gaps in the defense that OXG have left open. So as long as they keep a consistent hold here, and once again have gone for the default hold for this gym and bedroom site, it shouldn't be too much of a problem for FaZe Clan, or rather for Oxygen.
Definitely not. As FaZe will start things off over on the CCTV wall with the Mav Torch, as to be expected. Could obviously use Soul's utility as well, but since they brought so much hard breach, it's really up to anyone. He'll end up breaking up the right-hand side, torch line for the left, just to give them some vision over towards that end of the room, making sure that no one is around the space. Lax will be manning this area as well, as Souls will keep both of his exothermic charges. He'll more than likely be waiting on Cyber to rotate over inside of this area, but Cyber currently getting the single panel over for construction. He's going to nade through this, try and open this up and make things a little bit easier. But Yaga runs right into the grenade. It passed through the rotation hole here for Red as he almost murders himself with that explosive device.
I was more surprised that Yaga actually survived the nade. It seems like it was directly on top of him there, as he now sits with like 2 to 3 HP remaining here. FaZe as well getting lit up there through a volley coming in through one of the opening windows, I do believe, and that brings him down now to about 20 or 30% of his overall health also. Not the greatest start here from Oxygen, but the important thing is they aren't actual confirmed kills just yet. Those players can bounce back, especially inside of a game like this where we have a one-shot headshot mechanic. 1 bullet is all these players need to throw out here, and they can confirm their one and make up for all that lost health.
And it's a cheeky one here from Lax, and he was initially on the main stairs, and just for a second seemingly wanted to hop out the window, but obviously chose to go against that ill-advised move. So he transferred himself downstairs and was looking to see if he could possibly pick somebody off on Jacuzzi. Some serious damage onto Foxe and Yogg. They're both about 1 bullet's worth of HP away from damnation as Kino trying to pick up these drones around the space. This timer continues to dwindle for FaZe as they start dedicating their utility in towards the site, and an aggressive front here from Cyber as he'll take some serious damage via that toxic smoke, but he's not able to find Kino inside of the bathroom. They're going to have to try and find some other means in order to try and gather some space inside of the site. Astro to go down, but Vertical to die as well off of Bullet. And now Bullet with 2 here as Foxe simply tries to cross across the bed top. Some shots here from Yaga as he hops outside on 1 HP. He'll be able to collect that as he's looking for more inside of Logi.
The trade against Bullet is actually huge, as it actually more than likely means that Astro is also going to stay down as well. No one else from FaZe really in a position to help their teammate back up here. So with Laxing knocking out Cyber, they've got the advantage here, bringing it down, but Cameraman finds one more. He too cannot sustain though, and ultimately it's just OXG cleaning up shop on their upstairs hold and negotiating a 2nd round in a row.
Extremely solid round there from Oxygen. It was looking a little scary once the damage started to come in onto them, but FaZe not able to actually clear out the site in any meaningful way. Holding on to a lot of the space that FaZe needed, especially with the down onto Astro and the big kill onto Bullet that limited what they could do with the master balcony, that gave free range over the site for Oxygen to rotate around, and that's why we see them start to collect so many frags. Fantastic stuff from them as they'll go up by 1 round back-to-back here for them on Clubhouse, and Vertical with a 6 pick from Thunderbird on over to the Mute.
So it's into a basement hold next here for Oxygen. They'll return to an area where they struggled tremendously against the FaZe Clan push due to how much they were able to access things, especially inside of that final dying seconds push, working past the OXG setup here. Once again, the direct play from FaZe Clan oftentimes working out. I doubt we'll see it happen once again here, but at the same time, we'll have to hold our breath and see what exactly OXG will bring to the table. They have ditched the Thunderbird that was in play for the first hold here as well. Don't really think they got as much use out of that as they would have liked because of how quickly FaZe Clan made their descent into the basement here, and the upstairs hold that didn't see a whole lot of play. The first floor play working out excellently, especially for Yogg, as he got that kill literally seconds into the start of the round there and just had no problem falling back and maintaining the team's early advantage, but unable to translate that as we saw there, FaZe Clan got access specifically with Bullet once again. He's kind of been the hero for this map so far for FaZe Clan, the opener at a minimum, pushing directly in through Oil Tunnel and taking blue control, and the chaos unfolded from that point forward there, with OXG ultimately being unable to control it.
Absolutely, my friend, and actually Bullet being the secondary saving grace of FaZe when Astro isn't exactly hot to trot, as Bullet is the second highest fragging member of FaZe at this LAN, and Cameraman with a cheeky one. Unfortunate for Yaga, he can't hit the flick towards the floor, and he'll lose his life early here. That's a great adaptation from Cameraman. If you guys remember, Yaga got that early pick inside of Stock. He plays the exact same area, but an elephant never forgets, and FaZe able to take him down because of that.
Surprised that we saw a very similar play come out from Yogg once more here as well. Here, it's something like that certainly going to be caught on its second attempt, and absolutely the case here for FaZe Clan on the second run of the basement play. Cyber makes the same push into blue, this time obviously from the stairs here, but you can see Bullet was right behind him, ready to work in there as well, but Cyber's going to continue to carry on forward now with those 2 kills in their pocket. FaZe Clan pretty much have the site already here, and there's not a whole lot that OXG can do to stop it. Planetep going to go down, Bullet scared a little bit, so he'll cancel it after some first few seconds of trying to put it down, but there's no real reason to fear. OXG are giving over the respect. They're going to let them go for the plant. Laxing pushes in, but he's too late to stop the play here. Yes, they have blue control, but now FaZe Clan have a vertical post plant, and OXG are going to have to contend with that also. Astro finding one from up on top. Laxing trades out the last player down below. It's going to be close. It is now brought to a 1v2 as FaZe tries to account for the upstairs play by going there himself. He's missed the player in bar, but apparently Cameraman didn't think he had re-descended into the basement either, so FaZe can collect this out in a big way right now for the OXG roster and keep their lead strong, but no, it's Astro instead, the big man on FaZe that gets it done as they even it up into a 2v2.
And FaZe are shooting today. Another fantastic read from them on this Lockers defense. They know that they don't need to clear out this entire top floor. There's really no need in order to do so. They'd much rather go direct to site, take out the site members, and, well, that's really all that Oxygen can try and do in their response. Try and travel down these stairwells, try and get these kills and re-entry onto site, but when FaZe have so many members inside of that space, you're more than likely looking to try and catch them off guard. Luckily enough for Oxygen, that does happen in a certain sense, but past that, not able to win it out in a 1 versus 1. Astro just too strong, and knowing that FaZe has to get risky for that kill, just continues to pre-fire his door and find the frag. Fantastic stuff from FaZe there, as they will get their second round on the second time that they attack the basement site.
All right, let's take a look at the setup here from Oxygen. Shouldn't expect too much in terms of variance here. The pulse pick is going to be an interesting one from Vertical, though, allows, again, for these guys to hopefully get a better idea of where the play is going to come from. And away from that, a lot of the expected utility coming onto the table here. Notable addition going to be the Y being added in, but not seeing a Jaeger played out. And this team not necessarily feeling the need to extend themselves too aggressively over into gym and bedroom, but they will continue to play in with utility mitigation by adding those discs in for FaZe, who's really been showing himself in quite strong suits here so far for the first 2 maps, but the highlights so far, at least just going by the scoreboard here, has been Laxing. Currently at 6-3 here. Mass performance from him. FaZe falling off just a tad from the first map, but we're still very early days, not even halfway through this map just yet here, so could certainly see a rebound, especially once the sides flip, as we have seen that in the past. Players feeling a lot more comfortable on either the attacking or defensive side here, and suddenly their scoreboard comes alive there when they switch sides.
To be expected from our 9th best LAN player of all time, Laxing, but now gonna have to try and muster a lot more with the rest of his squad in order to take out FaZe, as they're keeping this one pretty close. End up blowing construction initially, but this is just going to pull a lot of Oxygen's eyes toward different locations, and that's how this strategy mostly works when it comes down to it, especially with the amount of hard breach that FaZe has. They're looking to not only blow the single panel, but also get CCTV open, start being aggressive towards Garage, and seeing if they can affect FaZe in any significant way. There's so many different ways that they can do this, and that's the beauty of the lineup that FaZe have brought. It's going to pull so many Oxygen members to the 4 corners of the earth.
So with things continuing to build up quite slowly here, and mainly just waiting for these Rotero drones, I think, to go off here. FaZe Clan, that is going to be the big holdout for them, but they're finished with it now. All 4 have already been deployed here by Cameraman. FaZe once more try to be a bit mobile on this position. over towards the catwalk inside of Garage, but not going to be able to find that opening pick, even though he's got the hot pinks coming back out, or rather the yellow pings coming back out against at least one member here of the FaZe clan. Push up on top, but okay, there we go. It's Yaga that finds the first kill instead, trying to catch an over-aggressive Astro. Once again, there you could see FaZe wanting to leap right into the site as he tries to go for construction door play. Will be caught out, and here we go. Cameraman waltzing in to find Vertical, still peeping the heartbeat sensor, but not anymore because he's lost his own heartbeat. Laxing immediately re-exchanges that, though, with his position inside of Garage and keeps the man advantage in the favor of OXG.
This is looking scary in the moment for FaZe, but can they battle back? They really need a pick in the moment going into the dying minute as of now. Cyber and Bullet both trying to man Garage, but not in any convincing way just yet. Really no information as to where it's going on, but now the yellow ping coming out onto Laxing. He could be dead in the moment. Hiding in behind the bike. They won't be able to find him just yet, but Bullet able to send some shots. Can Laxing win this out? Oh no, the motorcycle catching so many bullets out of this LMG, and no, won't be able to find the head. They're dancing back and forth, and finally Bullet will be able to secure the frag and get it into the 3 versus 3. FaZe, he's got so much time to work with now as he will be able to continue to try and limit this, but luckily enough for FaZe, they've been able to fend him off. Kino down on smokes. It's all down to the gun power of Oxygen, and they got quite a bit of it, but Kino, now the last remaining member, he's got an opportunity here. Shotgun out, and no! It's Cyber! He sees the barrel come out from the smoke, and he'll take him down moments before he removes the plant.
Cyber with the faithful Overwatch. He's the savior of the day this time for FaZe clan as he shuts down yet another round for our attackers here. Gives them the lead once again, and this is despite the great delay tactic we saw out of Laxing too. That gunfight over by Garage. I thought that was going to seal the deal. I thought that was going to leave FaZe clan with absolutely nowhere near enough time to play it, but Bullet finally able to negotiate that kill, and despite the 20 or so seconds wasted in the final minute, the rest of FaZe clan are able to brute force their way in, trade their way towards a victory here, and in the final 2v1, that excellent support from Cyber shuts down the last member of OXG and hands our lead back over to the attackers here as we enter the final round of the half.
You have to be feeling for Oxygen in the moment because it's almost like FaZe will not die no matter what they do. They're constantly trying to fend off these members.
They also just won't respect them is the other problem too. So at the moment here, Oxygen have no clue what to expect on a round-to-round basis. Some rounds it'll be a slow play, but at the same time, there might be like 1 or 2 players that just suddenly leap in, as we saw there with Astro through construction. Yeah, got caught this time, but now OXG have to suddenly keep their wits about them and expect plays from essentially every single possible avenue that might be spreading out their comms a bit too thinly, their positions a bit too thinly as well here.
Well, they're finally catching up, but the issue is it too little too late, John? Because obviously FaZe getting away with this so very often, not only on Bank, but with the very aggressive plays in towards the basement, cleaning up a lot of the Oxygen members on site when they are roaming upstairs and forcing Oxygen into a retake situation that's nigh impossible given the circumstances. Now for Oxygen, won't be going back to CCTV. Instead, they'll be headed over to Gym Bedroom, where they found one of their 2 rounds.
A complete rotation from Oxygen as they'll return to the very same sites they did on the first 3 rounds as well here. No variance in their selections throughout all 6 of the rounds that have been played. So FaZe clan will just have a nice little rerun of everything they've already done in the first half, and this round will be no exception. Astro even bringing the Twitch into the fold. Don't believe we'd seen that pick from him yet, but I might not have been paying good enough attention to catch it earlier on here. So he's going to go for that comfort pick of the F2 and hopefully also add better capability to knock out some of the insight utility here, as we won't have the Rotero drones to do it this time since we've seen Flores get swapped out.
Well, now the Mav torch as this wall will begin to be welded open. Cyber need to torch this up. We'll see the feet moving across that hole, so more than likely giving some insight back to his teammates and just finishing up the odds and ends for those little pixels there. Vertical starting to take some heat, but luckily enough for Oxygen, they don't have to worry about it all too much, at least if we're going off the track record of this site. They took some heat the last time, but FaZe still not able to do too much when it came to the overall site setup, especially after Yaga bailed out the construction window and was able to claim Bullet's life after he got a double kill out there. It was just the Overwatch for the remaining remaining members of his team to try and get in towards the actual site. A yellow ping out now. Can it get rid of this deployable shield? I assume that's what it's going for, but Cyber's changing directions. Could deal some damage to Kino, but no, it's actually for one of the corners over inside of the B site, or waits. And now Cyber will dish out his second one, which doesn't land on much. It'll be Yaga to get the first frag here, but Astro's already worked his way in at the top of main, but seemingly unaware as of right now. Oxygen aware at least one person is in this space. Laxing will double back after taking some serious damage as we get into our dying minute.
Yaga finding some great impact yet again here at the start of round number 6. Third round now. So half of this first half, we've seen him make the initial impact from Oxygen and cause FaZe Clan have to fight from the back foot. At least look for a trade at a minimum here. And certainly not going to have a lot of time to do that now, as this first kill's only been found at right around the 1 minute mark. So FaZe have to very quickly correct course here. And the good news is they've peppered in some excellent damage onto a large majority of the members for OXG. But the last time we played in the gym, that was the case as well, and it ultimately did not matter. However, Astro working his way in, exchanges this out. Laxing still holds strong inside of the bathroom, however. So that's going to be another position that we'll have to see the FaZe Clan members work past. The plant going down for Souls in gym, but there's no Overwatch on it. So Souls gets knocked right out, and FaZe alongside Laxing absolutely decimate the remaining members of FaZe that try to push themselves in, giving the lead over to OXG here.
A 3-3 score line in between these two, and for FaZe just not able to figure out the defensive matrix that Oxygen have set up for Gym Bedroom. That's twice now that they were able to collect that round, and for FaZe, they're going to be wanting at least one of those back. They had some very serious early on picks that they were not able to utilize to influence the remaining time of that round. Obviously, Oxygen had some things go wrong as well. Foxe could have gotten a lot more done around that main space, especially if that nitro cell properly went over the top of the railing, but, you know, that's just picking them to pieces at that point. Either way, Oxygen are able to muster 3 rounds, and for NA, you got to be happy about this coming to the offensive side, but we need to see them clean some things up when it comes to their overall offensive game.
Dead heat right now between these two teams inside of map number 2, and in more ways than one as well here. Oxygen holds the edge on entries, but only at a 4-2 margin. FaZe Clan, as we've seen, is great at immediately converting those when they fall behind, as Astro was able to do once they were able to get access to the inside of Jacuzzi balcony. And away from that now, an interesting pickup coming in from Oxygen, another OSA pick being worked in here specifically for OSA, yeah, for Laxing.
Do you know what your pressure points are?
No. But we are going to see the counter come in from FaZe Clan, as they've got 4 impacts to utilize here. While some of that might be saved to trick out the opening of like the kitchen hatch and whatnot, I would imagine, given the amount of OSA play we've seen, and specifically how well it's worked out for Oxygen, especially that one map they played to start out the tournament back over inside of Coastline, if memory serves me correctly, that is going to more than likely force FaZe Clan into saving those to deal with them quite quickly, so OXG don't get a free plant.
Could be a little interesting, especially for this downstairs site. I don't necessarily know how they would want to utilize this, but obviously that's for us to find out, isn't it? So as for Laxing, he'll be the one manning this op. Won't have the PDW, he'll have the 5.56 instead with that beautiful Glacier skin. I'm so very jealous. I wish I had it on my main account, but since they're on land build, guys, they get all of the fun skins, and we get nothing. So for Oxygen, they'll begin clearing out this top floor. Laxing will use that OSA shield to break up these windows, and this is one way we've seen this utilized. See how Laxing just didn't set it down? He kept it on his person. It's because it instantaneously breaks that window, as well as you have that bulletproof glass in front of you, so if somebody is there, they're not instantaneously going to burn you alive.
Like a mini Montaigne in some ways there due to that, or I guess you could probably equate it a little bit more to Blackbeard. But either way, OXG using these shields to a massive boon for their initial scouting capability, and also trying to save their lives, as they know FaZe Clan have been prone to these wild swings here, and despite the fact that they now fall onto the defensive side, shouldn't be too much of a holdback on their aggression here. Basement site, obviously, you'd expect them to play into the bunker setup that they've set up for themselves inside of this position, but as we move towards the second floor site specifically, could get a little bit more wild with the early round plays here for FaZe.
Foxe will be on the torch this time around instead of Kino, who's playing the Zofia for Clubhouse. Bullet trying to contest all of the verticality upstairs, and oh no, almost gets caught off guard. Luckily enough, that nade not cooked, otherwise Bullet would have definitely have lost his lunch. As the hatch starting to be opened here inside of kitchen, as we get down to our last minute. Also, Oxygen starting to pressure down low. We're starting to understand a little bit more as to why Laxing wanted to bring this op in the first place. It looks like they want to use it around the main stairs space that could hold a very serious cross if they end up adapting that in here. Got a drone out now as well here to look in towards blue. Obviously, FaZe inside of this area. Cyber, does he want to go for it? He does. He's going to go for the rotation now at 40 seconds. And now Oxygen, they have to be aware of the situation, seemingly know where that drone is. And they got the flank on Kino. He's locked inside of this oil pit area, and he's just going to bait until Cyber gets above him. Fantastic so far here from FaZe. They'll be able to pick up Kino when the plant starts to go off for Oxygen.
There's those impacts. They had 4 of them primed and ready to go. One chucked at Laxing, but doesn't fully take him out. However, the plant's interrupted merely seconds before it's completed here. Vertical won't feel the confidence to go for an immediate reattempt, but he does need to do so eventually here. But he as well, not going to have great support here. Cyber's just taking out the best bet for it. Vertical now falls and leaves Foxe alone. And okay, manages to beat out Cyber just barely in a duel, but there's no time left for a reattempt. So with 3 players still standing for FaZe in the basement, they take the edge on their first round of the second half here, and they finally take the lead once again.
And if you're Oxygen right now, John, I mean, personally, I would feel extremely frustrated given the circumstances. Constantly on these offensive sides, they are rotated into from FaZe, and they can't do anything about it. It's always the kills coming from the FaZe members, as once again, Oxygen on the cusp of getting a plant down, and it's prevented by FaZe Clan just pouring in so much utility. I believe 3 impacts being utilized all at the same time there to destroy not only the wall, but also the OSA shield, and inevitably Laxing in the process. Oxygen really need to get a hold on this, and hopefully it starts here at CCTV.
We mentioned at the beginning, too, that that was going to be a factor, that they were going to have to contend against that 4 impact pickup from FaZe Clan, and never really forced any of them out at any earlier point in the round there. Might have been able to do so by playing a bit more around with the kitchen hatch, but as you guys saw, FaZe Clan didn't want to use those. They kept them in their pocket, and OXG just did not have the appropriate level of support to make that plant happen once the OSA shields were blown up and dealt with by the impacts from our defenders here. On to another hold, however, as they won't have to worry about that for at least another round. Actually, I'll take that back here. I missed it, as Laxing's going to bring the OSA back for one more attempt. And this is the site where, again, I think it could work out quite well. Also, you'll note that FaZe Clan did switch away from that utility. They do have 2 nitros. There's still the possibility that things go awry for Oxygen if they try to make this play once again, because the arcs for FaZe Clan work out pretty well, especially if they're able to maintain interior cache control should Oxygen go for a CCTV plant, but still won't immediately lose the shields this time to the plethora of impacts that FaZe Clan had in the last round.
Now, this is where things could get interesting with the OSA shield and how it could possibly be applied towards this top floor, especially if Oxygen ended with garage control. There's obviously a very strong angle that you can utilize that's a little risky without OSA's shield, if you think about it. It's that left-hand soft panel that looks right in towards cache. They can definitely set that OSA shield right next to the actual stack in the center, and they're going to have some very serious info that they'll be able to influence a little later on. Also, plat. This is something that we saw pretty often on Coastline, that we'd set it up outside of the hookah balcony and try and use it to influence their gunfights inside of that space. This is the beauty of OSA, as we see Oxygen use it to its fullest.
1 minute gone from the round already here, and no huge action coming out from either team just as of yet. FaZe Clan looking to hold themselves back here. Yeah, Astro throwing out some shots to contend against the play over here towards the balcony, but not going to see a whole lot of action there from the Oxygen side of things either, as they're also keeping things held away, waiting to more than likely re-drone the inside of the site before they build up too much confidence to start pushing against the setup here. And FaZe Clan actually extending out from their site quite a bit here, with especially the Goyo shields being melted away. It's only bullet in the interior of cache at this point. Obviously, Cameraman a quick rotate away at top red stairs. You can see Cyber and Astro playing a little bit closer to those windows over by the balcony side, looking maybe again to try and level up towards a possible aggressive swing later in this round, or also, of course, contribute towards a late rotation here, as things will get a little bit too claustrophobic if they stay too close to the site too early on here. Regardless, though, Oxygen are well on their way towards opening up some of these garage panels, also trying to give them that access. Force out specifically souls, but also give them a very important piece of the puzzle also work their way into the site.
Pretty aggressive front presented by him, and now the Selma charge down as Souls is in hot water. Doesn't necessarily know where it's coming in onto him, but it's actually from every angle as he's going to hit the deck and hold on to R2 as long as he possibly can. Laxing finally will be able to dust him off the Osa shield outside, and look how difficult it is to contest him inside of this space. There's no way that Jaeger can possibly win that, and now Oxygen have control. It appears that they want to continue to hold on to this area, but there's also so many options for FaZe to utilize inside of the site. Even past Cameraman, they still have a Nitro Cell in Cyber's pocket, and Astro could do something nasty if he so chooses, but as of right now, all of the FaZe members are on site. They're looking to try an attack here once Oxygen pushes through. Kino looking to collapse up red stairs as well. The smokes will start now as Vertical will have to try and find some place to plant. Kino goes down to Cyber inside of the blue space. The smoke's still out. It'll happen yet again, and Vertical, he won't be able to find a hole to plant. 5 seconds remaining. Luckily, they killed the man that had the Nitro Cell, and Astro, he's done it again! 2 dead, and he knows where the plant's going down, but it doesn't. As they continue to dwindle those numbers, but as we finish up that, Oxygen will be ready and waiting for what the selection will be from FaZe, and it's going to be quite the unique site as Souls 6 picks off of Jaeger and over to Castle for Bar Stage, a site that we don't see too often, but we've started to see more and more since it was reworked.
Another issue there with the play from Oxygen was the kind of ignorance or their kind of issue where they were unaware of the utility that was still built up from FaZe Clan. We talked about the Nitro Cell, but that wasn't even the big piece of the puzzle. It was the Toxic Phase, which should be the obviously more expected one for our attackers here, that they weren't really able to drain out there at any earlier point in the round. And this is despite having those 2 OSA shields set up outside on the main balcony with still like a minute and a half or more in the round there. Could have tried to throw a bit more pressure in towards the site earlier on to bait those out, but never really happened. So FaZe Clan, yeah, they saw the shields, but they had an immediate counter. It's like, all right, guys, nobody's swinging CCTV. We still have an extra Nitro. We still have the 3 Toxic Babes. As long as we don't whiff all 4 of those, we should be good to hold this one out and play to the timer.
Yeah, absolutely. And past that, I mean, Oxygen just need to get a hold on Astro. I mean, this guy is constantly getting away with murder, but you could also say that about some other FaZe members as well. It's not just all the Astro show on these flanks, so yeah, it's been truly insane to see what they've been able to accomplish, because you'd think that Oxygen would understand what's going to happen inside of the last minute, but seemingly unaware that FaZe still have an option like that, and Astro just once again getting away with way too much, Blue.
I know I was the one that brought the storyline up with Astro, but like it's not even just him anymore. If you look at some of the other games, it's like a huge outlier for this team, and that's certainly the case. But yeah, you just pointed them out for me here. Both Bullet and Cyber having massive games, and that's not even counting this map. I know, for instance, Bullet specifically was a huge proponent to the success of FaZe Clan back on the first map, and oh my goodness, Fox! Just full sends it on the Maverick line, and Yogg obliges in kind, revealing the full body of Bullet, and there we go. That's what we were talking about, knocking out some of these all-star members of FaZe Clan. That's a great way to start it out, just disrespecting Bullet and deleting him from what he thought was a safe position inside of Cash.
We have to see some more wombo combos like that from Oxygen. The team play there fantastic, especially from FaZe, as he was able to just keep himself on the cusp of that wall and make sure that he cannot get taken out while Yaga is able to work the angle. Great stuff from them, but still a long road ahead of them. As we both know, these picks haven't had the utmost influence when it comes down to it. FaZe will continue to fight against the Oxygen onslaught for as long as they can.
Yeah, that's step one, and unfortunately for the Oxygen fans at home, they had no problem completing that in the past 2 rounds either, as Laxing got the first kill back on the round number 2 of this half in the CCTV take, and they also found the opener back in the first basement hold as well. But as we talked about back on Bank, the failing to convert that, as we're now going to see the trade come in, has been the much bigger problem here for Oxygen, as Souls immediately finds a pick and drops the case, probably not going to stay down of course, but drops the case however temporarily as well here. And I mean, I talk about, you know, things being temporary, I didn't even realize we're already 2 minutes into the round here. So much time has been wasted once again by FaZe.
And the biggest thing for that, John, is look at the amount of problems that Oxygen are being faced with. FaZe members are literally everywhere. The map is crawling. They don't know where the hell to go. That's the biggest issue right now. Case down, Oxygen down on man count as well. Cyber's still upstairs, and then again, Oxygen just failing to make a decision in any decisive way and clear out this map. This is starting to look more and more like FaZe's 6th round, as Souls will take down Vertical. Vertical. There's only 2 remaining Oxygen members, and make it 1. It's all left up to Laxing, and he's done. Souls takes him down, and FaZe look to close this out in 7-3 fashion, just like they did Bank.
Another member of the All-Star team being added in here for FaZe as well. We talked about 3 other members of this team, but now Souls having himself a moment with a quad kill inside of what could very well be the second to last round of this matchup here. Huge performances coming up from nearly every single member of FaZe at this point here. They look unstoppable, and certainly doesn't look like Oxygen can stop them anytime soon at the minimum.
We have to stop seeing these solo plays. That's why I called out the combo between those 2 earlier. It was so very well done, but Oxygen are not delivering when it comes to clearing out the map properly, or at least taking space that they want. That's the biggest problem. They just sit on this side of the map, and they do nothing with it at all. They don't clear out the top floor, they don't push into bar, they don't clear out downstairs. If you're an Oxygen fan, you have to be frustrated with what you're seeing because they're just sitting on their hands and doing nothing in the moment. FaZe time and time again able to find the gunfights, able to find the picks, and as of right now, Oxygen have to go back to back to back in order to achieve just overtime on their own map pick.
Yeah, it's got to be 3 rounds straight, and this is a feat that we have not seen yet for the members of Oxygen. I don't even believe we saw it back on map number 1.
Oh, they've only went back to back. That's it. They've only got 2 rounds in a row, and I believe that was actually on this map.
Yep, rounds number 2 and 3 they were able to control on their CCTV as well as gym defense, but aside from that, it's been 1 round at most being picked up by the Oxygen roster over the course of this series, so this would have to be a huge changeup. No pause to fall back on to utilize inside of this desperate scenario as well. So it is a rough time for Oxygen, and we're going to have to hope that they can find some inner strength here to bring them back into the fold, bring them back from the brink, and save them in this series. That's only to enable map number 3, ladies and gentlemen. We still have that potential inkling as well to deal with if we even get there.
Absolutely, and Laxing adopting the OSA yet again here, 10-7. Really, him and FaZe, as well as Yogg, things to be able to talk about in the moment. And for Kino, it's been so very rough as he has not been able to hit his mark like he traditionally does. 3 and 8 in the moment, a drone in front of him, a green mark, or rather a yellow mark for green box as Kino's looking for the frag, but it actually comes from Vertical. Oh my god, cameraman! He just deletes Kino from the face of the earth as he'll continue to hold on to this top floor. Oh, doubles back, and the SMG-11 does it again. Vertical to fall, and FaZe have the man advantage.
It almost seems like to a certain extent that FaZe Clan are just giving away the first kill to Oxygen to get their players out into the open, get them to be a little bit more confident, and then just completely slash their dreams by trading out not once, but twice here against them as it's brought down to a 4v3. And once again, FaZe Clan can now dictate the pace of play here because they're on defense. They pulled everybody back into the basement here. They're just going to wait it out now. They're on easy street here for what could very well be the last round of the series.
This is truly terrifying for Oxygen. Something has to be done about this. And guys, do you want to know the biggest problem is? Laxing's the only one with an active drone. It's 1 minute and 24 seconds. I don't even know what you do in this situation. And this is just going to be so unbelievably difficult. I wish I could try and describe it to you guys any better. But as of right now, Oxygen have to face check literally everything that they do. Luckily enough, Laxing has a shield in order to do so. And this one drone. This drone is worth its weight in gold. No, not even that. It's worth its weight in whatever expensive material you can possibly think of combined. As of right now, Oxygen need everything to go their way. If somebody dies in the moment and is not traded out, this is more than likely the round.
All right, well, let's see if Oxygen can get it done here. Once again, a huge fall from grace for this team after such a promising group stage performance. Now looking to try and save their upper bracket hold, but no, the 3rd kill from Cameraman is found. The case is dropped again, and Cameraman can control its positioning for pretty much the rest of this round if he should so choose, but he'll take the safe path. Even when FaZe Clan have every right to be aggro, they're not going to take it. They're playing this out for the win right now here, so Laxing gets the case back under his control, but for how long is the question? Only 20 seconds remain. The Toxic Babes only just now starting to come out here for FaZe as well, so they can easily just hold back these last 2 on a timing play and end the game through that. Impact's now being chucked at FaZe. He has to try and hold on, but that impact opens a window for Laxing to use only once though. FaZe now needs to find these last 2 kills. 2 seconds to get it done. He won't even give it a chance, and Soul shuts him down. It's a 2-0 win for FaZe Clan as they'll venture forward onto the next phase of the upper bracket, and OXG's advantage will be dashed before they can even consider what to do with it.
What felt like an impossible game for Oxygen to win on Bank happens yet again on Clubhouse. Only 3 rounds secure.